Right, hi everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around today for those of you that have done. I am Louise Watson, Associate Director at Propeller and one of the co-founders of Empower, which works to create safe and inclusive spaces for women at some of our biggest industry events. I'm really excited to welcome you to this session where we're going to have two phenomenal women speaking about their experiences of networking. It's not a skill that comes naturally to all of us, let's be honest. And we're hoping that you can take some of these learnings away today into the networking hour that we've got after this event. Firstly, we've got Angelina Tan, VP of Growth at VaynerMedia, followed by Gemma Greaves, founder of Nurturing Partners, talking about their very different approaches to networking. So first of all, I'm going to hand over to Angelina.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, I've lost my voice. Can everyone hear me okay? Amazing. When Jody first asked me to do this last week, I said, you're out of your mind. I am an introvert. I was brought up in a very conservative Asian culture, Singapore. And my dad brought me up to say, be invisible, blend in, don't have a voice, just basically don't stand out as an Asian girl. And when Jody asked me to do this, I was like, not me. Like, I'm not the person who is an expert in networking. Can I just show of hands who actually enjoys networking? Amazing. You're gonna even be better. Who is terrified of networking? Amazing, that's me. So when I said to Jody, yes, because I think I want to represent the people who are extremely terrified. I'm a VP of growth, which means like I do new business for a living. I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to be hustle queen. And I took the job. I didn't want a new business job. My MD was like, you think you're bad at networking. You're actually really great because you're not trying to network. Gemma's going to do an incredible job telling you what it's not networking. It's a dirty word. It's not working. But I want to leave with a story for a minute. I was at a dinner event with Adoring Club, you know them, and we were talking about, I love philosophy. Come to me if you love philosophy, but we're talking about whether do you want to know if you're going to die. And we were engaging in a really big talk, and there was a silent guy sitting on the side having coffee. He was 65, 70, really old, but he was just looking over and smiling. He came over, I was like, oh, why were you smiling? Do you have a point of view? And he said, well, I know I'm gonna die. He had terminal cancer. He found out 5 years ago. He's just waiting for the time where he was just gonna go. And I say, oh, what do you do? And he's like, we're at Liverpool Street in Bob Ricard. And he's like, I own that building outside. And I was like, shit. Shit. And it's like, what do I ask? And he was a sweet young guy. He had nothing to ask. I was like, what do you do in places where you have nothing more to offer? And he's like, yeah, when people found out I died, the jet plane stopped. People didn't call him out. Like, he had nothing more to give, the value. And so I'll leave you with one thing that I say, what do you think we can all do better in places like these when you're meeting new people? And he said, if people stop trying to impress in conversations and just spend a bit more time to listen, then you actually can find out what you're trying to solve for. I think there'll be more interesting conversations to be had. And so I don't think I was on this stage to inspire you, but I hope I can liberate you that when you're networking, it's not to impress the other person, but just come as you are. I'll pass it over to Gemma right now, give you practical tips, but I'm so excited to spend the next hour with you. Thank you all.
I know, I was just going to put it there. Double microphone, there we go. Hello, everybody. I'm just wondering if we can get, because there's a few seats empty, everyone that's towards the back, fancy coming down the front? You were like, who is this woman doing this to me immediately? But if we can, you know, we're about to make friends, so let's get close. The chap right at the back, come on. You, I mean you, yeah. And you, come on. Amazing. That was beautiful, Angela. And not easy as everyone's leaving and the transition with it all. It's wonderful to be here. My name's Gemma Greaves, and Louise and Jodie asked me to do this session about 2 days ago. Yeah. So let's see how it goes. We're just going to have some fun because that's what it's all about. But we're going to get to know each other, so I thought I'd start by sharing a little bit about me. And the way I like to do that is share things that I love and things I'm less into. This little picture, this angel, stroke little shit, on screen, is Joshi, my 9-year-old. And he's the reason I do what I do. He's the reason I gave up my big job, and I now have a brilliant business with that chap there who's looking around everywhere else. And what we do together at Nurture, our business, is we genuinely love to create experiences where people can have pure fun and come together and can truly be themselves. What I'm less into, baked beans. Anyone else in the room? I hate, exactly. Always got what? Yes, thank you. They're just not nice. The way they slip down your throat and the mushiness, the way they sit on the pan when you're trying to wash them, they're just a bit disgusting. And the other thing that I'm less into, and it's quite ironic given I used to be Chief Exec of the Marketing Society, is I'm not into marketing jargon, and particularly acronyms. Why do we use complex when we could just be simple? How many times have we sat in a meeting room and someone's used an acronym and you thought, I've no idea, but I'm not going to say because I don't want to look stupid. Right, exactly. And my mantra in life, Dan and I, we're all about when you bring good people together, good stuff happens. And hopefully we're going to demonstrate that live today. So this is about networking. And I'm just going to share with you a few things I've learned along the way of building communities over the last 20-odd years. Showing my age there, over the last 10 years. The first thing I'd like to say is I'm not a big fan of the word networking. I was really encouraged by quite a few of you saying you really like it, but I also saw lots of you keep your hand firmly down here. And I think the reason it's difficult and it fills us with fear is the word itself is pretty shit. Networking, what does it mean? It conjures up images. Going into a room, people having their backs turned to you. You go over and get some warm white wine on the side. Slightly awkward. Let's hope it's not warm when we go outside in a moment. Yeah, good. And you literally, this thing on my phone is really interesting because I don't want to look alone. How many of us have done that? Right, thank you. So I like to reframe it. I call it not working. Take the work out of it, and it becomes so much more enjoyable and interesting and less fearful. So I'm just going to share what I've learned along the way, and hopefully that's quite useful. And then we're going to do some live not working. Is everyone excited? Yeah? Woo! Yeah, amazing, brilliant. So the first thing to say, Bram was looking at me like, what is she talking about? He always looks at me like that, to be fair. It's no different. So the first thing to say, it's all about being yourself and being able to be your true self. And Ange and I just had a great chat on that, didn't we? And it's only when you're your true self that you're your best self. How many times have we gone into rooms and felt we needed to be like someone thinks we need to be, dress the way people think we need to be? I've been in jobs and I've gone, I need to dress a certain way, I need to act a certain way. Bollocks. Just be yourself. Be your true self. And it's only when you're your true self that others will be their selves. And creating that space. And it's only when you're your true self and you're authentic that you build trust. And trust is at the heart of every big relationship. So I'd like to reframe networking, not working. It's not about what you can get. It's about what you can give. Networker becomes net giver. So everyone in this room has something unique to give. But we often think when we go into a room, we've got to get business cards and, it feels really intimidating. No. Think about what you have to give. How curious are you? Because that's the magic. And as generosity unlocks the magic. So it's not about fear. Reframe that fear. and think of it from a curiosity lens. Be curious and ask questions. So instead of thinking, I've not got anything interesting to say, think about, actually, I might learn something new. Because curiosity opens doors, whereas fear closes them. This is one of the best questions I think we can ask, and we don't do enough of this. I've been in so many meetings where I think to myself, I've just heard all about them, now I've heard about their family, now I've heard about their job. Ask questions, how can I help? It changes everything. The rich dynamic between the two of you becomes so different when you ask if you can help, because we can all help each other, and we should do more of that. We should support each other. And seize every opportunity to learn. And that might be you find someone inspiring, just go for it and ask them for 5 minutes, ask them for a coffee. Don't do what I did. I was at a breakfast with this FTSE 100 CEO, very impressive person, and he said exactly that advice. If someone inspires you, then ask them out to lunch. So the next morning, I wrote to him and said, you inspired me, can we have lunch? And we did, which was very lovely, but I thought, you're a FTSE 100 CEO, you're going to pay. No, I got the bill on that one. And I didn't really learn much, but that's another story. But we can learn from each other and just seize every opportunity to learn, because we've all got something interesting and unique to give. And become a cheerleader in each other's life, because it's all about supporting each other. Find out what we've got in common, what our experiences are, get to know each other, connect on a much deeper level, and that's what we're going to do in a moment. But the most important thing, and I'm racing through this because we've only got 10 minutes and she's going to do that cutty thingy, because also I'm between us and wine. Yeah. So I'm racing through this more so than I usually would. But the most important thing is how you show up. It's only when we're present, truly present, that we have presence. So usually what we do at this point is we do some breathing exercises and we do some dancing and we get involved. We haven't got time to do that, but if we want to do that in the drinks, we can. But to be present in a room, just take 5 deep breaths. Just allow yourself to calm, reduce the stress hormone cortisol in your body, and be in that space, because it's when you're present that everything changes and you can have much, much richer conversations. So think about how you show up. Be a radiator, not a drain. How many times have we been surrounded by drains, right? I'm seeing loads of nodding, right? But how many times have you been a drain? So think about how you're being. So I didn't come yesterday deliberately because the heat would have killed me and I would have been a pure drain and I wouldn't have been nice to meet people. So I decided to stay in my lovely air-conditioned office instead. But it's about being radiating energy and radiating energy of those around you, and not being probably showing my age, and the Harry Potter, the Dementors, that come in and suck all the energy out the room. How can you be those people that, cast a shadow and you visibly shudder as they come into the room, or those people that shine a really big light? I want to be the one that shines a light. So think about how we can stand out and make an impression, because first impressions count, they're made fast and they last. And they're really difficult to change. And lastly, before we do some networking, not working ourselves, let's not let the little things hold us back. I mentioned it earlier a wee bit, or otherwise known, and everyone says different things, and I know there's been lots of talks about this particular topic at MadFest, imposter syndrome. Some people call it a phenomenon because most of us have it, or have had it at some time. The feeling that we've got to where we've got in our career through luck as opposed to ability. The voices that hold us back. I mentioned this earlier. I don't have anything interesting to say. Reframe it to, I might learn something new and meet someone amazing. These people are far more accomplished than me. Why would they want to talk to me? Reframe it. What I've learned so far is valuable. We're all unique. I'm here to keep growing and keep learning. It's really hard to read my little bubbles on this screen, so I'm going to go up here. Why would they want to talk to me? And reframing to, I might be exactly the person they need right now. So when we show up and get involved in a moment, reframe that fear And we've had lots of chats throughout the day at MadFest, and a lot of people that are very, very senior have told me they absolutely are terrified of networking for all the reasons we've just talked about. Because if you reframe it, it's about curiosity and growth and learning, it changes everything. And when you're struggling, and this is my favorite thing in the world, evidence pots. I've got 2 pots. One's thoughts, one's evidence. Which one's real? Some people always go, thoughts. Thoughts aren't real until they become an action. Evidence is real, and evidence grows every single day. Maybe share how you feel about someone else that you know to grow their evidence pot. And so when you are having those days that are difficult, think about your evidence pot. Think about how that grows every day and how amazing you are. And then it's all about having the courage to show up and step in and go for it. And that is the antidote to imposter syndrome and those feelings that hold us back. So we're now going to show up and jump in. So I'm going to get everyone to stand up. You're all like, no! And this is just before the wine. Okay, so I would like you to find someone you haven't met before, and if I know that you know each, I will call you out. Okay? And I would like you to... Thank you. And I would love you to introduce yourself to each other. Don't talk about work. Okay? Remember, it's not working. So don't talk about work. Introduce yourself about something that might be interesting about you. It could be a favorite food. It could be a country you visited. It could be a hobby you've got. It could be your guilty pleasure. Okay? So I'll give you an interest, well, I think what's quite interesting about me, just to give you an idea of the vibe we're going for. On Sunday, I did stand-up for the first time. I popped my stand-up cherry, and I'm not about to do it now because it was bloody terrifying, but that gives you an idea, something about you that you wouldn't have on your CV, that you wouldn't know, and instead of thinking about what do you do for a living, which most people ask, tell me about you. Change the question, change the narrative, and it all becomes so much more powerful. So we're going to do this here, and then we're going to go out and have some drinks. And I've got some other ones that you can try over drinks outside that I'll go through in a second. But let's go for it here. And I'm going to come into the crowd and find a few of you. You've got 2 minutes for this, Lou? Max 2 minutes for this. Okay, let's go. Let's give you a minute and a half. Meet someone new. Brilliant.